there are two types of fans in wrestling. There's the casual fans, and then there's the hardcore fans. The casual fans will try to tune in each and every week to see what's going on, to feel possibly entertained, but never really truly feel a connection to the product and to what's going on. They might miss an episode or two, or a few weeks worth of shows, or possibly even a few months because they just don't have the time to tune in. But a hardcore fan will go out of their way to watch the show live if they can, and if they can't, will seek out the results or possibly avoid all spoilers if you're someone like me that does not like spoilers, and go back and watch every minute of that show. Some people will fast forward through the bullshit, and I understand that. But me personally, I sit through every freaking segment, promo, match, whatever it may be on that show. Recap, doesn't matter what it is. If it's a commercial, I'll fast forward through it, of course, if I'm watching on DVR. But being the person I am, I sit through every minute of that show because no matter how bad it is, I love this stuff. I love pro wrestling. And there are times in wrestling where you wish you weren't a fan of wrestling and you're embarrassed to be a fan of wrestling. And I'll do another video on that at another time. But I'm talking about the times from maybe September of 2013. And there have been plenty of bad periods in wrestling. But the most recent one that comes to mind is from September 2013 to WrestleMania of this past year. It was one of the worst times to be a wrestling fan. Nothing was seemingly going right. It was terrible to watch each and every week. And there are two types of way of looking at this. There's one that you watch every single week to make fun of the product, mock the fans, and make fun of the fans, and just find no enjoyment in it whatsoever, and just can tune in because out of habit, and then just don't feel the need to tune out for whatever reason. So there's that, and also continue to complain about the product anyway, even though you don't like what you're seeing. And then there's a second kind of fan that will tune in every single week during the bad times just because they want to see the product get better. They love this stuff so much. They want to see it improve. They want to see it fulfill its full potential and be what it used to be and be better than it was before. It makes it all worthwhile once it finally does get better, like at WrestleMania 30, arguably one of the greatest WrestleManias in recent history, when Daniel Bryan, in storyline sense, had to go through all that bullshit of being overcome by the Authority and finally winning that WWE World Heavyweight Championship. The fans at home felt that moment because they went through the treacherous times that Daniel Bryan did in those 9 months on WWE TV. It made those 9 months feel worthwhile. And when you feel that connection to the product, or the superstar winning the championship, or the babyface overcoming the heel, and finally getting their moment, that's when you know you are a hardcore, passionate wrestling fan. And then there will come the episodes of Raw that are absolutely off the charts amazing, that you could be having the shittiest day in the world, everything could be going wrong, and then you turn on Monday Night Raw, and it's the best episode ever, and it completely changed your perception, your mindset, your mood, everything. And then you're a complete 180 of what you were 3 hours prior. It happens. It may not happen to everybody. With some people like me, it does. And for a prime example was this past Monday. And I'm not saying I was in a bad mood or anything, but this past Monday I attended Monday Night Raw. Maybe I'm biased because I was there, but it was easily the greatest Raw in months. And you can tell because I lost my voice to the show for marking out so much. And that's another thing too. I legitimately got excited at all the things that were on that show, just going crazy, losing my voice because it was such a great show. Not for me personally, but someone else out there could be having the worst month possible, the worst month of June possible. And then it finally gets that month, that Monday night in June, June 30th, 2014, and they witness one of the best episodes of Raw in months, easily since the night after WrestleMania. And they are then the best in the best mood possible. They could be having they could have a smile on their face for hours after that, for days, weeks, months, you name it. They are there. They love it because the episode of Raw changed their mood, changed their mindset. change the look on their face because they're so goddamn happy that everything went their way in the wrestling world. And you can argue that professional wrestling is the ultimate escape from reality. And maybe it is. And sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a bad thing. You shouldn't let wrestling be your only escape from the problems that you encounter in real life. But say you're having a bad day, wrestling fans know that they can tune into Monday Night Raw every single Monday night on the USA Network and get their filling of happiness, of excitement, of sadness even, in the complete reversal of the roles. You could be having the greatest day ever, and then you come to find out that the Undertaker's streak has been broken. After 22 years, the streak has been broken. The infamous storied streak in wrestling history is over. And you just sit there speechless. Someone like me, who after the streak broke on April 6, 2014, you sit there speechless, wondering where you were, remembering where you were on that day when it happened, who you were talking to, what you were eating, where you were sitting, who you were watching with. You remember that kind of stuff when that kind of stuff happens. So, in closing, just wanted to say it's episodes like this past Monday night, and I'm not going to do a complete review of the show on this video, but I will say that it's episodes like that that remind you why you are a fan. It's those kind of episodes of Raw that remind you, hey, I fucking love this stuff. And if you were like me and got excited about every single aspect of that show, from Jack Swagger turning face to the returns of Chris Jericho, The Miz, and AJ Lee, to the changing of the hands of the Divas title, to the near cash-in of Seth Rollins with the Money in the Bank, you remember why you are a wrestling fan, why you love this stuff. And even in the worst of wrestling times, you know that it will get better and why you do love professional wrestling. And there are people out there that will mock you for liking wrestling, that will ask you, why do you love this stuff? Because it's fake, it's dumb, it's gay, whatever. But most of the time, it's those people that are jealous that they don't have something to be passionate about. They don't have something to get excited about every single week, and you do. You have something to be passionate about every single week because you got the fucking passion. You got something to look forward to that you know will never ever end. That you know will be there for you at the end of the day when all things go wrong. It's episodes like this past week that remind you why you are a passionate fucking wrestling fan and how much you love this stuff each and every week. No matter how good or bad it is, you are reminded how much you love professional wrestling and why exactly you are a wrestling fan.